a lot of times, especially on social media, we'll hear people's victories, their good news, which that's perfectly fine. That's where we share good
Mhm.
news. But we don't as often get a chance to hear about the not so good news and the difficulties and the struggles, particularly for college students trying to find a job.
Right.
And in your case, thinking about maybe do I go to graduate school? Do I work full time? What do I do? What's the right thing to do? But it was difficult
Mhm.
for you initially finding a full time job. So why don't we
Mhm.
start with that? Talk to us a little bit about what the searching was like for you, some of
Mhm.
those difficulties, and how you dealt with hearing no over and over.
It's interesting because my journey started out as my spring semester of my final year at Rutgers. I remember I had applied for a job at a hospital down in my area. I'm in the South Jersey area, and following up, the day of the interview came, and I'm trying to get a hold of him, trying to see, what's the situation with that, trying to follow up. And I remember being sent around so many different departments and so many different areas, and I'm just thinking to myself like maybe he kind of either found somebody else or it just wasn't meant to be. And it was early in the semester, so I didn't think much of it. But after school, I'm thinking I graduated in May, and then I had the whole summer, and started. I began to be more, hopeful and optimistic and things like that. I'm like, okay, it's the summertime. If I start applying, I'll get something by fall. Summer went by, not really hearing back. Fall came, not really hearing anything back. Pretty much sending out application after application everywhere. It got to the point where post-grad depression got so real for me. I felt like I wanted to give up. I felt like there was really nothing out there. I didn't know where my future would be at, where I would be the year after that. I was the most stubborn girl in the planet at the time of my entire post-grad experience. I remember my mom encouraging me to get a small job on the side while I'm still looking for something. And I remember telling her, no, I didn't want to do that because everybody else around me is graduated and everybody else has a job in their field. Why should I go back to doing the summer job that I've been doing for the last 2 to 3 years? When in reality, I should be where I'm at now, what I graduated with, which was healthcare administration, working a job in my field. But at the end of the day, I was slowly falling into depression. I slowly kind of was my behaviors and moods and everything started to change. I didn't really want to do much anymore. I would stay in my room a lot because I just felt like a failure. I felt like I was hopeless. I felt like everything that I was working hard towards wasn't really going the way I wanted it to. And I was beating myself up so bad that literally, if it wasn't for my parents and my brother and my sister, I don't know, I would be like a wreck. I would be a mess.
That's something we don't talk about often enough, at
Yeah.
least not in any circles that I hear about.
Right.
After graduation, everybody's talking about going into action mode, getting a job, but
Mhm.
rarely do people talk about, and you said the term yourself, post-grad depression,
Yes.
especially in situations like this where you've done everything you were told is right to achieve success. You went to
Mhm.
college, you did well, you got your degree, you're putting yourself out there, you're doing all the work to search, and the answers, it's not even
Always no.
no thank you. The answer sometimes is even no answer whatsoever. I'm positive that people listening have either gone through the same thing or might in the future experience something like this. And even people who are listening that aren't college students, all of
Mhm.
us can understand that uncertainty, that abyss of not knowing and or hearing no. And people may even be switching jobs and unable to,
Mhm.
or maybe have been downsized or for whatever reason no longer in their field of work, trying to find work and
Mhm.
keep coming up short. So anyone who's experienced that can really connect with what you're saying. And I'm really thankful to hear that you had a
Mhm.
strong support system, because I know that is what helps us get through the difficult times. In addition to having your family as a support system, how else did you cope with that from a physical standpoint, from an emotional
Mhm.
and intellectual standpoint? What were some of the things that helped you put one foot in front of the other and
Mhm.
and be able to express your feelings, accept and express that you were feeling depressed, and then how do you move forward from there?
So I think a lot of times me talking out what's going on through my mind and on my chest is what gets me through my problems. I don't like to bottle up my emotions, and I don't like to keep a lot of things to myself, especially when I'm upset or I'm not, or I'm beating myself up or I'm not happy with where I'm at. I'm so thankful that I have my family around so I can literally talk to them when I'm not feeling my 100% myself. I have like close friends around that check on me from time to time because they know my current situation, what I was going through. I'm also very big in my spirituality. You know, I'm really big on God. I can only speak for myself when it comes to this type of topic. I don't know anybody else believes, but I'm very heavy on prayer. I'm very big on just keeping faith in the man above, kind of just praying about it. Every Sunday, I would be at church just constantly praying, asking God for an answer, you know, asking him to guide me, asking to just kind of lead me in the direction where I'm supposed to be led to. I had to keep a strong mindset about it. You know, I didn't want to be too negative about my situation. After a while, when I did all that I can, when it came to the job application process and kind of just taking in those rejection emails one at a time, I remember one thing my brother always said to me is, if it was a no, that wasn't meant for you. And that's kind of what kept me at ease when it came to anything else that I was going towards when it came to finding a job. Having that coach, you know, somebody coaching you through your entire situation when you're in your down season and kind of just keeping you optimistic, it gives you a level headedness to know, okay, this is not your current, you know, it's not your final destination. It's just your current season, but you're not going to be in this situation forever. Just keep an open mindset and just keep working towards the end. And I think that's what I kept doing, was just kind of just kept telling myself, this isn't something that's final. It's temporary. Something will happen. I just gotta wait my turn.
Wow. The two lines that you just said are really, I'm really feeling it. Like I'm feeling it in my head and in my heart, where you're saying, this is not your final destination. This is your current season. Sharing that kind of content in our own minds with the people around us, that belief system is really important. You also touched upon your faith and your spirituality, which is a huge part for so many people. And like you said, you're speaking about your own experience. And that's what this kind of content is about too. Is like, we don't have to quiet the part of ourselves that's spiritual, because we're expressing what we believe and what has helped us, with all due respect to everyone else's faith and spiritual beliefs. But in
Right.
your case, your faith helped you through this really difficult season. And I know the power of spirituality for so many of us, it's a part of who we are. We can't really separate our spirituality from other areas of our life, because it's
Mm-hmm.
so deeply ingrained in who we are. Tell us then, when did things start to shift from no, no, no answer, no answer, no answer? When did things finally change for you?
I decided to finally get a small job on the side, which turned out being a big blessing because I had made so many new friendships at that job for the time being. And it was a job that I actually looked forward to going to every day because I was surrounded by so much people that were just so loving, so kind, so caring, people that I still stay in touch with to this day. So that was like the perks of finally getting like a little side job on the side. I kept my strength and I just kept applying, kept applying, kept applying. I know Rutgers Camden had a career fair going on. I went to that. I know my community college in my area had a job fair going on. I went to that. I'm not a shy person, and I'm not somebody to really just hold myself back from opportunities. So if I have to go out there and talk to 1,000,001 people and drop my resume to 1,000,001 people, I will do it. I just kept putting myself out there because I know for one thing for sure that my mom said, she's like, you did all that you can, and once you know that you did all that you can just sit back and wait. I sat back and I stayed positive, and fast forward to a few months later, it was the day after my 24th birthday, and my mom and I went to go pick up my sister from the train station. And we came back home, and we were in the driveway, and my phone rings off. It's a number from an area close to where we live, and I'm not sure. And my mom said, pick it up because you have your resume out there. People are probably trying to contact you. I said, okay. And I remember picking it up, and I told my mom, okay, I'm going to answer it. And when I answered it, it was a recruiter from one of the hospitals in my town that was reaching out to interview with me for some of the opportunities that they had opening up. And I remember telling the girl, like, yes, I'm interested, you know, book me. First interview was that following Tuesday. I put on my best dress and I went right to that first round of interviews. And I will never forget what the recruiter said to me. She's like, you know what stood out to me on your resume? It was your internship that I did with you when I interned with your photography and your live shot photography company.
Let me put it into context for people that are listening.
Yes.
You took the leadership class with me. You know, I was your professor in that class.
Mm-hmm.
And because I do this creative work, photography and video, we were
Mm-hmm.
combining a visual media for a health related condition, Alzheimer's,
Yes.
and how video stories, how photography, imagery is necessary in health conditions. So for a person, for example, who's struggling with Alzheimer's and forgetting things in their life, that a family member would want to put memories together to help that person remember things, but also for the family to have memories of that person before things become so severe with the
Yes.
progression of this extremely unfair illness. So I wanted to put together this creative internship, blending the world of health and my world with photography and video. And so you're saying, and I did not know this, Melissa, you're saying that the internship you did with me is the thing that the recruiter was reaching out to you about that
Yes.
stood out.
Yes.
Fascinating. Fascinating. I love
Yes.
it.
And my mouth instantly dropped. I said, "Are you serious?" I was really at a loss for words when she said that. Like, she could tell that she was very warm and that it was something that was passionate to her. The way how she put it, she was like, "Your internship stood out to me so much," and that's what made me want to reach out to you to connect. And I remember doing the first round of interviews with this girl, and we had so much in common. It kind of felt like we knew each other forever, the way we were talking to each other. And she said that, I love everything. I love your background. You have so much customer service experience. I think you would be a good fit. I said, okay, let's go. I remember the next Tuesday, I called out again, got my best dress, and went up to the placement for the second round of interviews. And it was so crazy because the manager that I interviewed with, we had so much in common as well. She loved my background. She loved everything. She kind of like felt my energy. And lo and behold, I got the call like a few days later that I got the offer, that I got the job.
Wow. And I'm empathizing with you, that moment, that moment when it finally you get to hear, yes, Melissa, we want you to come work with us. Everything about you feels like a good fit. Come
Mhm.
join us. Obviously, anybody listening would know that that's a happy moment, but how exactly
Yes.
did you feel?
In that very moment, I was just so relieved. I was so excited. I was so happy. And I just couldn't stop thanking God so much. I couldn't even stop thanking my brother enough because my brother was really like the person who was by my side through the entire time. Like, he was there from beginning to end. And even to this day, I always tell him, like, I just can't stop thanking you for just you guiding me through that entire time because it was so rough. But the outcome of it all was just, it was just something that I still think about to this day. And I'm just like, wow, God is real. God is so real.
And that touches my heart so much as a big sister myself. And so I think, what a good big
Yeah.
brother to have been there for his little sister. That's
Mm-hmm.
excellent. It's very touching to hear the strength of your relationships, the strength of your faith, having have gotten this good news. And let's be clear for everybody listening. Just know this wasn't a quick turnaround time from graduation, from the day of your graduation to hearing yes. This is 12 months, over
Yes.
300 days of trying, of struggling, of hearing no, of putting one foot in front of the other. And even at the encouragement of your mom, at least for the meantime, find something.
Mhm.
And maybe, and that's not the final step for you, but something to get you by, to get you through. And it's
Mhm.
difficult for our pride, especially because we went to college to have a certain level of influence and a certain level of a position in life.
Mhm.
That's why most of us go, is because we want to be working at a certain level in a chosen field. And so having to do a temporary job can feel difficult for our pride. I usually love to sum up the message in one sentence so that for everybody
Mhm.
listening, we really know the core of your message. And I
Yes.
want to ask you, what is your message in a sentence? But I feel like you've already told us what your message in a sentence is. So I want to see if what I think it is the same thing that you're going to say. What's your message in a sentence for us?
Your current situation is not your final destination.
And that's exactly what I'm getting out of it too. So that is a powerful sentence. And it would be what I'd put on a t-shirt.
Yes.
We're putting your message on a t-shirt. We're putting this episode on a t-shirt. That's exactly what the t-shirt will say. Now, let's say you have 15 seconds to go back and talk to 18-year-old Melissa. What would you say?
I would tell myself, you started off strong in high school, you were persistent, you graduated at the top of your class in high school, and you kept that stamina going. Always just keep the faith, keep God number one in your life. You know, God first, your family second, but also be that loving person, spread that love, put good out there so that good can come back to you.
That may have been a little more than 15 seconds, but definitely worth listening to. Good, good message, Melissa. Really good message. In addition to all the things we've talked about today, it's so important to be taking good care of ourselves.
Hmm.
We've touched upon the importance of speaking to other people, but what is the most recent thing you did just for fun, only for you to enjoy?
You know, I took it upon myself to just go to the beach recently. Um, I'm a girl who I love anything tropical. I took a trip down to the beach and kind of just, you know, relax for the day, free my mind, read my book, played my music, and it was very therapeutic for me. And when you can, if you can do something like that, sometimes it really does a difference for you when it comes to starting your work week, when it comes to just tackling any task that's stressful. Take some time to kind of just listen to the ocean breeze and the waves in the ocean, and it will make a very big difference.
Amazing. And that type of a beach day sounds fantastic. I have not had a chance to enjoy the beach just yet, but I know the
Hmm.
feeling of doing something wonderful that you love and how it really does help to press the reset button, especially if we're in a bit of a funk. I really love the content that you shared today. It's very real, it's very honest, and it has the power to give hope to other people who are more than likely facing a very similar situation in their own journey. So thank you so much for your message of hope and encouragement and for being so vulnerable and sharing your own experience with us.
You're welcome.
Oops, I just bumped into the microphone. Oopsie.